All right, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Let's get started today with today's video. It's a beautiful day today, and I'm ready to talk all about how to really manifest your own spirit family, your own spirit team, okay? Your own spiritual entourage. How can you magnetize a spiritual entourage towards you? And I'll also be speaking about how you can call in your soul family or star family as well. So, again, these are all my perspectives and opinions. I've been a neo shaman for a while now, you know, primarily focusing on peak performance and altered states of mind. I'm very interested to work with esoteric technologies and hidden inner tech that really helped me to transform myself and start working with these invisible forces, right? Unseen worlds, unseen energies. There's such a small band of visible light that we can see, but there's so much in the unseen worlds from a mid-astral realm, higher astral and lower astral, if we could split it up like that, right? It just makes things simpler. And as you start to work on your own nervous system regulation, as you start working on creating a better heart rate variability and better flow state activation, you remain spontaneous. You're going to allow yourself not to cling or identify with these certain entities, right? So one advice that I would definitely give you is not to over-identify with your negative beliefs and thoughts, because if you start to stack and think about all of the negative beliefs that you have, it might just be like a lower entity being trying to feed you these negative thoughts so that it can latch on and you can identify with those thoughts. Now they found a way through, right? It's like they've entered the doorway now. So it's very important for you to discern this thought is actually effective and this thought is not effective. Okay, as you're living throughout your day, you got to know the difference between that. This is where processes like even therapy or CBT come in, where you go, wait a second, this thought is not helping me one bit, right? And so, how is that thought, how is that going to manifest in my inner world, right? It's going to slowly make me feel so hopeless and bad until the as within, so without. So then, if you're in hopelessness internally and you feel like crap, you're going to notice the world is crap. You're going to start belittling the world, right? Projecting it outwards. But this is why you have to protect your mind. I mean, that's one of the most important things that I would tell you guys in regards to this, okay? Now, I want you guys to see the nervous system almost like a gateway, okay, a bridge towards these different beings and how you can work with them, okay? Just sharing this with the tribe real quick. Welcome, welcome. Take a seat, get some popcorn. Let's get started. This is an epic topic. I love speaking about this topic, man. So, excuse me, I just ate some food. I have to digest this waffle that I just ate. Okay. Let's see, calling in your spiritual entourage. Okay, who's going to be Vinny Chase in this, spirit team? All right, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's get started. Now, the first things first, I want you to really understand the nervous system regulation thing. Okay, very, very key, very, very important. Now, as we start to explore this topic in greater depth, you're going to start to notice that inviting spirit guides into your life is as much about regulating your nervous system as it is about connecting to the higher realms. And I wanted to show you the science of this esotericism for the people who are more left brain, right brain oriented, right? We want to be integrated in our brains. We don't want to be lopsided. We don't want to be too overly right brain that we go floating off into the cosmos with, head in the clouds kind of mentality, floating up whimsically, or being so heady and intellectual and trying to micromanage this entity formation that it just creates more stuckness for you. So you want to find the sweet spot, the Goldilocks zone, right? The flow state in terms of this. Okay, so this is where things get really exciting and you start connecting to higher, mid, or lower realms. Okay, very cool, right? So the state of your nervous system determines your receptivity to subtle energies, which is why bizarre or oftentimes very eccentric or eclectic practices often work because they bypass the rational mind and you engage deeper into the subconscious, right? The deeper layers of awareness, the sort of bubble up. Okay. So number one, let's look at the nervous system as a gateway, as a portal, as a bridge towards activating these certain guides towards our current vibrational state, right? So whatever vibrational state you have, let's say that your nervous system is stuck in a fight or flight mode. You're very tense to receive subtle signals, but on the other hand, you know, it might be very difficult for you to observe any spirit communication, even though it might create frantic thoughts, right? These different siphoning beings or these different scary beings in your mind when you're in fight or flight, right? This is why a lot of people, who are drawn to this fight or flight, this negativity, the survival mode, they constantly had to, you know, prove themselves. That energy almost works like a magnet towards certain maybe warlike beings or even beings that uh want to work with strategy and manipulation, tactics and you know all of these different things, right? So I would highly suggest that you, at the very minimum, to work with much more supportive, protective, guidance-oriented beings to use grounding techniques like, you know, being out in nature, man. You got to touch grass, okay, guys? You got to touch grass. It's like walking barefoot in the grass, deep belly breathing, putting your belly to the grass and breathing, you know, uh, create a calm, balanced state. That's the foundation for any kind of spirit communication. You can go to any magician, meditator, practitioner of the occult. You can go to anybody. Anybody will tell you to relax in order for you to then notice this subtle energy or how it's working through your aura, right? If you have a third eye that's open, of course, it's going to help you. But irregardless, if you want more guidance on this process, and if you're very new to this stuff, you're like, whoa, this is kind of creepy. This is tripping me out. Then work with us, okay? One-on-one. I'll make it very easy for you guys to understand. And you can start it right away, right? You don't need to overwhelm yourself with this stuff because, again, it might be religious dogma in your mind, right? Random stuff in your mind. And the more stuff that's in your mind that hasn't been processed yet, the more difficult it's going to be for your guides to respond to your unique energy because certain guides think of them as little patterns, right? Or personal symbolic connections to your practices. So, like, for instance, like, let's say that you're thinking about, let's use something very specific. All right, I'm seeing a dartboard in front of me, so let's say that I focus on darts, right? And I'm a dart player. And constantly in my consciousness, all I'm thinking about is darts, 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 right? I am going to now pull in certain energy, certain patterns in my subconscious mind, right? Certain things that relate to darts, more focus, more aim, right? Maybe hand-eye coordination deities and entities, right? You guys get what I mean? So it's almost dependent on how you're spending your days, how you're spending your time, right? If you're using some kind of an exogenous substance or something like that, that's going to call forth certain beings to then work with you, okay? So it's very important how you lead your lifestyle because your lifestyle is going to pull in the certain types of beings that are going to resonate with you. Okay. Now they have their own preferences, they have their own like ways that they would go about things, and they're this kind of receptive and expressive type of energy that you can connect with. Okay. Now I'm going to give you some very peculiar practices to call in your guides. Okay. This is very high level stuff. And this is probably going to be more for the adepts who are part of Primal Sutra already. But if you're not, if you're kind of ready to dive into this, man, hey, let's get it. Okay. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying be cautious when you do this stuff, right? Because this stuff is pretty much next level. Okay. It's the next level up to what we know, what we do, and how we express ourselves through this new dimension, let's just call it. So, number one, is whispering to the stars. Okay. Bizarre practice, but very, very powerful practice, especially when you are connecting to your star family. Okay. So one thing I can say about definitely the science of esotericism is rather than seeing star seeds as this mystical or fantastical idea, what if we approach them, right, as expressions of human consciousness evolving to perceive multidimensionality? Okay, so the third eye is linked to the pineal gland, which is like this P-shaped gland of the brain, right? It regulates your sleep-wake cycle, melatonin, uh, serotonin. And this gland is like the gateway to these higher states of consciousness, right? Think about it. When you feel into the sleepy state where you're kind of in the psychedelic state after doing breath work, after your meditation, perhaps you just drank some coffee and as an ADHD person, you crash, right? Whatever it is, right? It's important for you to activate the neural pathways associated with intuition, with transcendence, with imagination. People who identify as star seeds may have naturally heightened sensitivity, right? So they allow themselves to tune into the cosmic or archetypal energies already. So just as the human eye perceives light, our mind's eye perceives subtle energy fields as archetypes. Do we get this? Say, oh, okay, good. Now, these perceptions are interpreted very symbolically, right? So they may give rise to starseed-like experiences or feeling like, oh, I'm connected to this other realm. Perhaps you've been to another world in a dream world, right? And you've started exploring, and it's been absolutely phenomenal what you've experienced, right? I'm going to go back to this whispering to the stars in a second. I just want to break down some of the things associated with star seeds first, okay? So in physics, the idea of multiple dimensions and parallel universes is supported by string theory and quantum mechanics, okay? So these theories suggest that our reality is just one layer of a much larger multiverse, right? So what if they were just parts of a greater layer, right? Star seeds may be individuals who are intuitively and energetically sensitive to these other dimensions, okay? That's our consideration of a definition of a star seed, okay? We're seeded from the stars. The connection to other star systems could be understood as tuning into the quantum fields of information where symbolic resonance with certain stars or energies occurs. Okay, we already know that astrology changes us, it moves us, it kind of enforces us, right? It weaves through us. These planetary energies are very powerful and they can shift you, especially Vedic astrology, right? They go deep into this stuff. But when people report receiving information from star systems like Pleiades or Sirius, it could be that their subconscious mind is interpreting data from these quantum fields, translating them into symbols and stories that their consciousness can actually understand and process. So maybe you're like seeing some starseed being from Lyra or Mintaka or something like that, and it's reflecting something that resonates with your own storyline, and your ego is trying to grasp onto it from all of these ideas, right? So Carl Jung had this idea of the collective unconscious, right? That we all humans share reservoir archetypes, symbols, ideas, which appear in dreams, myths, even spiritual experiences. So if you thought of the star seed as an archetype, this is powerful, man. It could reflect deeper connection for longing, purpose, and transcendence, okay? Because they align with psychological patterns, okay? What do I mean by this? Let's say you're from Sirius, you would probably follow a path of discipline and wisdom. Let's say that you're from Pleiades, you would probably focus on love and harmony. Let's say you're Mintakan, you focus on idealism and creating a pure vibe. So this aligns with certain patterns, right? They're going to manifest when individuals are starting to explore their higher selves. And of course, there's epigenetics. Epigenetics shows that trauma, habits, and memories can influence our genes and be passed down through generations. Okay. Okay. So that means the starseed traits might be linked to your ancestral memories, correct? Or encoded cosmic archetypes. So people who are resonating with being starseeds, or they're tapping into different parts of their DNA, they're creating symbolic memories of ancient wisdom or connection to the greater cosmos at large. They aren't necessarily literal, but they could represent a very deeply ingrained psychological or energetic pattern. Okay. Now, of course, there's this idea of neuroplasticity. I have a book called Theatroplasticity. Shout out to TPM. Okay. Neuroplasticity is this idea of the brain can change, right? The brain has the ability to rewire itself. Whatever fires together, wires together. You might remember that from science class. Okay, some of you. It can explain heightened sensitivity to certain energetic or spiritual phenomena, right? So star seeds are often, they're engaging in practices like meditation. Um, you know, I mean, your brain, if you do a brain scan, maybe neural activity in areas related to empathy, pattern recognition, maybe even intuition. This kind of rewiring allows us to sense subtle energies or feel more connection to these celestial archetypes, if you want to call it that. Okay, spirit, entourage, time. So in flow, the brain operates in harmony, right? Creativity. It connects the logic with the intuition. This state mirrors the heightened awareness that starseeds describe. So, like in Hermeticism or Kabbalah, they teach us spiritual insights that arise when the individual transcends duality and then starts to connect with these universal laws. Okay. So, flow state is the gateway as well, right? So the nervous system is the gateway, but technically it's flow state that is the gateway, at least for our path working. We're peak performance shamans. So for us, star seeds may access the cosmic connection when in flow. So where they harmonize their nervous system and bridge their conscious and subconscious minds, right? So this state of openness allows a person who is connecting with these starseed energies to then interpret subtle energies or insights that feel alien or otherworldly, extraordinary in a sense. So starseeds are individuals who opened up their perception channels through neuroplasticity, through meditation, and other many practices. Their connection to other star systems can be interpreted through quantum entanglement, ancestral memory, and archetypal resonance. The archetype of the starseed symbolizes humanity's collective desire to evolve, because if you are seeing these starseed beings and you are energetically tuned into these other dimensions, then you are going to feel that you need to help society. You need to evolve society. I need to move with this. I need to do something with this energy that's bubbling up, right? And so by framing star seeds as a blend of these metaphysical archetypes, using our scientific principles, we can then appreciate the role that they have in expanding our consciousness without needing to view them as mystical or ooh, okay. Instead, it's evidence that humanity's ongoing exploration is going into a more expansive, multidimensional nature. Okay. So let's see it like that and view it like that. Okay. Whispering to the stars. Okay. Let's go back to that. Okay. So whispering to the stars. Go outside at night. And once you're outside at night, I remember once I was in Vermont, right, where you could see the stars. I went to Bennington College for a liberal arts hipster college in the middle of nowhere where Peter Dinklage went to college, right? The dwarf from Game of Thrones, right? That's where I went to college, right? So think about it. I was in a hipster artsy fartsy school and the stars were just so visible, man, right? Imagine chilling out with hipster babes, looking up at the stars, man. That was my college experience. But go outside at night, look at the sky, and whisper your intentions or questions out loud at the stars. Imagine the stars are like a telephone line to your guides. It's strange. I agree it's strange. Okay. People will be like, who are you talking to? What's going on with you? Right? Anybody who's on this spiritual path, when they start working on opening up their chakras or they feel these extra energies or they tap in finally, you're going to get challenged, right? Because we were all an NPC, right? Before we understood that we have to be the main character now. Okay, so let's give some let's have some empathy for these NPCs, right? That we see around us, right? They're still people, but they just haven't woken up to the truth. So that's fine. They'll wake up when they need to wake up. It's not your responsibility, right? But what you can do is be a way shower, be a walking embodiment of that, so they can help access this flow by you remaining authentic, right? I lead by example. I'm being authentic as I'm speaking to you guys. I want to talk about these topics that resonate with me. I don't want to create fluff and like a 4 minute video that's gonna appeal to the masses and get $1 million contract overnight just because of this little viral clip that I did. Okay, that's great, but that's like, so what? Right? In the grand scheme of things, I want to have consistency. That's why every day I show up teaching. And these teachings aren't just coming from my brain. You guys get that? It's coming from something else. There's some other energy underneath it all, kind of guiding it, right? Posturing it and moving it in a certain way. So it's strange, but it's very effective because when you combine focused intention with the mystery of the universe, you then activate your subconscious mind. It's such a weird and peculiar thing. But I notice whenever I talk to the stars, whenever I kind of like think that, all right, star family, if you're with me now, let's help me through this. Right? If you just set an intention or you just activate that energy just with intention, you'll start to notice very, very trippy things happening. And if it does though, come back to this video, give it a like or thumbs up and comment on the video, right? Comment on the video, yo, Uncle Makara, Unc, yo, I tripped out. This happened to me. I was dancing in the moonlight. Okay. And all of a sudden, something inside me shifted, right? Or whatever. But yeah, I think it's a very, very interesting thing to try this out. Next, I like this one. So let's put these bigger. Offering a peculiar gift, whispering to the stars. Okay. What do you mean by offering a particular gift? You have to leave an unusual offering, like a feather, your favorite snack, a handwritten note, in a specific spot. It can be anywhere. Okay. It could be by a tree. It could be in your backyard, be under the moonlight. It could be in your room. It could be in your guest room. Okay. Be careful when guests are over there, call entities in your guest room. Right. And when you do this, you set the intention, just say, this is for my spiritual entourage and spirit team. I call on you to join me now. Okay. As you give it, as you offer it, you can burn a candle if you want. That's besides the point. Okay. Ryan G, he's in in Netherlands. I'm saying he lives in Netherlands. He's in New Zealand right now. And so you're gonna think of doing some geomancy to make sure that my visa gets approved properly and we move forward with this mission, you know? Because we were called there to the warrior codes, the Haka codes, the Maori integrations that we needed for our character development. And that's the reason why we got called there. So it's very powerful, but it's all gonna happen when, the divine, when the guides allow it, right? This is a patience code, patience challenge. I mean, Ryan G going for 22 hours in a flight, like that's like, man, that's patience downloads for sure, especially for someone who works with, Elemental King of Fire and his energy's like blah, 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 right? I get it. It's challenging. But anyway, offer a particular gift. This works because it creates a ritualized physical representation of your intention, right? So of course it's going to strengthen energy communication. You guys get that? Again, if some being is bothering you, just put an offering outside your door. You just say, like, look, I'm on a pathway to enlightenment. I'm on ascension process. I want you to ascend with me, actually, if you wanted to. Don't disturb me right now because I'm in ritual. I'm in process right now, right? And just put a little offering, done, right? Very simple, very easy. Next, mirror gazing. Mirror scrying too. You can even make your eyes sort of like Shiva eyes, Buddha eyes, right? You're squinted, squint max, okay? As you look in the mirror. You can sit in front of the mirror in dim lighting, or maybe even gaze softly at your reflection. Kind of see if you can tap into the peripheral vision too, not just the mirror, so sort of like a soft gaze, right? And you watch the shifts in your face, the light patterns, or just intuitive insights, right? This brings you into an altered state of consciousness, my friends. Doing mirror work and mirror gazing, it will bypass the logical mind. You will get weird downloads coming through when you do this. It's wild, specifically if you do it with and you send yourself self-love. I love you no matter what. I love you no matter what. You go to sleep with that energy. I've said it many times on this channel. It's a very powerful practice to do. So in front of the mirror before sleep, you try doing this. Okay, you say it to yourself because you want to melt away all those lower valence emotions that are keeping you stuck, right? Guilt, shame, apathy, fear, etc. So do some mirror work. Okay, mirror gazing. Amazing mirror gazing. All right. Next is speak their language. Hey, shout out to all of the light workers out there. Ah, this is hit my dartboard. Um, Shout out to all of the light language connoisseurs out there. Okay, the ones who chant gibberish or speak up in a made up cosmic language that just feels right to you. The tonality, the vibrations, they tell you something, right? So Shepashen la karafana san jabasho hosh chikeneseseso for shondo samanama shan negalaga shachokorogo. What am I doing? I'm going with the wave of the emotion. The mental filters guiding me to respond with this playful openness that it's causing. So think of it as a vibration in motion, vibration in action, right? It's strange. I'll agree. I'll admit it's strange. Someone going right in the corner. Kind of bizarre, but it's powerful, right? Because it opens up energetic pathways without self-judgment, right? It takes down this filter of self-judgment. So it's actually very powerful to just do some light language. Okay, just start gibbering, right? You play some frequencies, you play something light in the background that can keep you in a rhythm or a tone, like some kind of a gong or like a ding, like a wind chime type of energy, and you just start going into it, right? You can use other frequencies to help you. Listen to other people's light languages and see if that affects you too. Okay. There's certain practitioners that have light language codes. They draw them and then they also chant them. They're very, very interesting. Okay. So again, very powerful, right? It's a very powerful practice. And the way you really refine this is you start differentiating it. Okay. So let's say that you're tapping into, what's an energy? Let's say you're tapping into Montu's energy. That's Horus's son, right? From ancient Egypt. He's a war god. Let's say you're tapping into his energy, or maybe you're doing Akadua, whatever you're doing, right? Tap into that energy. And then, you're thinking of this, how you have a beak now, right? And from that beak, you're speaking Montu's energy. So if I tap in right now, what would I say? Right? It's more like energy right now. I'm seeing little floaties right now too. Very interesting. Okay. So this is how you chime in. You have to find, it's almost like creating an antenna, right? To the energy. Focus on it. Focus on the words that are coming up as language. And you loosen your expression and you allow. Wow. Okay. Try it. Try it in a playful way, right? In a safe environment. It's awesome. Big White, what's up, man? Awesome. So now this is a fun one. This is a very fun one. Okay. Play hide and seek. What do I mean by this? What do I mean by playing hide and seek? You write down a question or a request to your guides and you hide it somewhere meaningful. Under your pillow, in a book, in your wallet, and you tell them to find it by giving you a sign. Okay. You tell them, as you find this, please give me a sign that you are here and you are near. How will I know? You'll know. Okay. You'll know because this playful method works because it builds trust and it encourages you to notice the synchronicities that are coming through. Okay. So it could be a little note to the fairy realm. I'm like, hey, all right, you guys are awesome. I'm getting invited to a social event recently, and I want to make it known that you guys are in my presence during that event. Signed date, thank you. Boom. Little sigil if you want, whatever. Boom. Easy, right? Put it under your pillow before you sleep. You have dreams, and then you go to the event the next day. You suddenly notice this little fluttering butterfly, and you're like, huh, interesting, right? So this is how it's going to kind of manifest in these weird, strange like ways, like through animals, through different codes, sometimes through people. Okay, sometimes even through people. So this is what I mean by playing hide and seek. You're not going like one, two, right? You're not doing that shit. But what you are doing is you're specifically requesting something, right? And you're telling them as you find this message, please give me a sign that you are here, that you're near, that you're available. Okay. Very powerful thing to do if you're just starting out on this, right? Now, the next thing you can do is you can use your guides to connect through symbolic or sensory triggers. Okay. These are definitely unconventional tools. Not everybody needs this, but having little, objects and different things can sometimes help. Okay. So use the proper eclectic tools. What are some eclectic tools, like let's say crystals or pendulums, unusual objects? It could even be a random household item, like a stone you found that's in a weird shape, or like a keychain or something like that. And you can use it just any object, to ask yes or no questions. So let's say I have my remote for this, right? Um, I'm just balancing my AC remote on one finger. Okay. And now, am I okay? Left is yes, right is no. Yes. Okay. I just made that up right now, right? But you can do this with any object. Okay, mentors. Okay. When I bite this, if it'll be more on the left, I'm going to close my eyes and bite this. If it's going to be more on the left side, then it means this. Right side means no. Okay, I'm going to spin it and bite it. For me, it's right in the middle. So it's a maybe. Okay. Some people use Oracle cards. I love using Oracle cards. Shout out Mavatar Babaji. Okay. I'm not going to chew this gum right now. Too distracted. All right. Thank you for your patience. Pull cards upside down, sideways, or at random times during the day just to see what messages pop up. Just to see what we're creating our own 44 deck Oracles deck for Primal Sutra with our specific deities that we work with. So it's going to be very powerful. And we're going to leave it for adepts only for now. However, for special request, we can send it to certain, like, you know, maybe YouTube fans or subscribers or whatever. Um, we'll update you on that further, okay? Because it's still a work in progress. We just started to put things together and find illustrators, manifest illustrators, and so forth. Okay. So playing with static noise or white noise or bilateral stimulation or all these different patterns of words, you can use them to meditate, right? Guides sometimes speak through very abstract sounds. I found this frequency the other day, which is like anti-frequency that gets rid of these lower, darker demonic energies. And I saw ethereal harmonics. I highly recommend that. That's also Quadable Integrity. It's another channel from them. Ethereal harmonics, okay, really good one. Um, Morphic energy fields music. I really like that one. So morphic fields are like you got to play them out loud, right? So what I do sometimes, I'll play a morphic field on my phone, right? And then I'll like go through my body, through my chakras with my phone. Like it's a sound thing, right? I'm just like cleansing the space around me, around my head, around my body, around my midpoint of my body, around my lower body, around, right? And so forth. Okay. I do that sometimes because it's needed. It's honestly needed at certain moments. Okay. Hey, you got to be a freestyle shaman in this game. Okay. Next thing is rewire your environment for more connection. Okay. So dimensional decorating. Okay. Multidimensional decorating. This means like you can decorate your room, right, with eclectic symbols, maybe a star chart, animal bones, crystals, bizarre thrift store things that you find if you're super hipster. But basically find things that feel alive to you, right? The aliveness is what we want, as Jung said, right? So treat it as a shrine to the unknown, an altar to the mystery that is you. Okay. And sleep with a specific item. This is very good to say just under the pillow. Guide of love. Please visit me in my dreams. Here's a small token, It could be a little jewelry, maybe it's a little object, maybe it's a little message, maybe it's a coin, whatever it is, right? That connects you to that specific guide. If it was Janus, I'd use a coin or a key. Easy, right? If it was a Thoth, I would use maybe I would write something down because he's a scribe, right? Just use your imagination, use your innovation, okay? That's what's really, really going to help. The next is, of course, dream invocations, which is what I just described, right? So, yeah, before your dreams, before you sleep, set an intention, put something, an object under your pillow, and then it slowly comes through in the other realm. Okay, the guides might show up in the dream itself, or you might get synchronicities and signs after you do something like that. Okay, next is shadow lighting. Okay, this one is very powerful. So light candles and create flickering shadows on the walls, then ask your guides to play in the light. Watch for intuitive imagery that arises in your mind's eye. Okay. So this is a very powerful technique. And I think that once you get the hang of this kind of shadow lighting, then you really start looking at it very differently. Okay. Because sometimes shadows are like illusions, right? They play tricks. So trickster beings definitely love playing with the light too. So you have to be watchful about this, okay, when you do this. But generally, it's a very good idea to watch for any intuitive imagery that arises through smoke, that arises in the fire, that arises through, candle gazing, that arises through, shadows on the wall, like silhouettes or puppets, anything, right? Like it's very good to work with light and dark, okay? And interchanging. So candle, dark space, maybe a new age candle with LED lights that spin. Who knows, right? You can use your imagination. I'm just giving you ideas, right? Strange movement and breath work. Okay. Okay, I love this one, man. Dance wildly or stomp your feet while chanting repetitive sounds or drumming, right? Play some shamanic drumming. And I mean, Your root chakra guide would probably love this, okay, whoever that is. So we have each of our guides associated with each of our energy centers or chakra points because we see them as different worlds in a sense. Okay. So shamanic stomping, you stomp your feet, boom, 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 like a tribal dance, right? Like let's say the modern version would be like crumping, right? Stomp the yard style or whatever. Like shamanic stomping is really, really good because now you're responding to the primal energy of the planet, but you're doing it through rhythm, right? And the law of rhythm is in Hermeticism. So you got to understand, how do you stomp properly as a shaman? You do it in a trance. You create a rhythm with it. You're using it to get yourself into this wilderness feeling. You get it? This freedom, wilderness, primal energy feeling. Okay. Next is vocal exhales. Ah, or ooh, or right? Like exhaling with weird drawn out sounds. I used to actually cringe at people who used to do this in the spiritual communities, like right. It's like it's kind of cringe, but if you try doing it yourself, honestly, you will notice it's releasing some stuck energy. Okay, so some stagnant or stuck energy. You can imagine your breath is sort of like clearing space for your guides to enter, right? It's like clearing out the space through these vocal exhales. Right? I just made that noise. Now there's certain clicks or pockets of consciousness that come through. Now, body sigils. Very cool. You can just take water and dry it. You can take essential oil and dry it on you, right? Something very temporary, but it's still, you can just use your finger to dry it too. But honestly, it's a great idea to just, dry it on even on your skin. You just trace the pattern on you. And it's very powerful to do this because if you do it with the focus of attracting specific guidance, oftentimes it's bizarre how fast it comes through, actually. So, like I said, shamanic stomping, vocal exhales, and what was the other one? Body sigils, right? Of course, you can also get a tattoo, but that's a different point. That too many, I mean, tattoos open portals, right? They open portals in your body. So, but again, those portals are permanent, so be wise about what you're getting. That's all I ask, right? Don't be like a, you know, 5-year-old with your tattoos. Just like, I got it because it was fun. It's fun to look at. Little do you know that you're bringing in some weird ancestral energy in that point, right? Depends on where you locate it on your body, too. This has a different effect. This has a different effect. This has a different effect. Face tattoo has a different effect. Okay. So it really depends. Okay. It really depends. But you got to trust the signs. Okay. I think that's the most important thing is when you start these practices, you're going to receive subtle signs. So you got to be on the watch for the signs. Okay, what are some signs? I'll give you some very basic ones. Flickers of light. Okay, right? Um, Flickers of light or temperature changes, suddenly very hot or very cold, a quick shift in temperature, goosebumps sometimes, or sudden emotional shifts, or if you suddenly feel a pressure in some side of your head or something like that, or maybe a twitch on one side of the body, right? Little tingles around the head. Sometimes it feels very ticklish around this area, like just like try tickling yourself on your face. Is that it? Sort of like that. Sometimes the energies, right? Very strange. Dreams or synchronicities are definitely related to your entourage. So acknowledge these moments by thanking your guides and asking for the clarity that's needed. Even if their presence just feels weird at first, you have to trust that you are aligning with your energy, that they're aligning with your energy, right? And why does this work? All the stuff that I mentioned, okay, why does it work? It works because you are activating the subconscious mind, which speaks in the language of symbols, sensations, little insights. Okay. It bypasses the logical mind, right? So you're bypassing your overthinking, technically allowing your nervous system to relax into openness. And as you're doing that, you're creating personalized, unique rituals that resonate deeply with your energy. And then when you step outside the ordinary, your signal to your own spiritual entourage will be more ready because you're accessing it from a more playful level, right? Your guides will respond to your authenticity and be willing to explore the unknown. Okay. So this is really what our main topic for today was. And now I want you to really start to reflect on everything that was being said. And also, how does starseeds fit into flow or esotericism? You see, the brain operates in certain states of mind, and starseeds are individuals who have opened their perception channels, right? So if you have opened up your perception channels, include like your third eye, for instance, you will then be able to tell like this energy is more amorphous and floaty. This being has a very physicalized body, right? Like Ryan G saw this old woman as he was traveling, right? In the form of like a cartoon that he once resonated with. So that like that gave him a clue to then he sent it over to me. I muscle tested it to confirm, and now we're looking at this new being or possibly a guide, right? A guide that's an old lady, an old woman that's probably there to help us, right, in some way. So we have to be open to these understandings and these synchronicities. We can't just discount them. We can't be like, oh, yeah, that's nonsense. What a bunch of, you know, we can't do that because our mind loves to do that. It loves to push these things away, right? And not think about them. But again, so what and who cares, right? A good question. Why should we care about any of this? Why is it important to have a spirit guide process, right? Sometimes there are issues in your life that are so invisible that they're energetic issues, right? And it cannot be solved through modern medicine or like physicality work or, somatic work or change work through the mental world, right? Mental shifting coaching, right? Is made life coaching obsolete. Okay, that's not going to work for this. You guys get that? Like spirit and spiritual work is very, very powerful because not only are we working with the divine law, right? So we're not saying that these beings are, of course, these beings have to be in some ways connected to the light. They have to have some kind of spark of divinity. Otherwise, how are they even existing, right? It might be a very, very low level, hence they're in the undersoul, but they're still connected to the one. Okay. How they might be trying to break away from the one, like, in the Venom movie, we saw that like weird demonic character, right, on the throne, the latest one, who was like, I want to come back, right, or whatever. Um, could be like that too, but regardless, we can think about it through our own ways. And if you think of your guides, not just star seeds, right? But if you just think of your guides as archetypes, it just makes things so much easier for you. And you don't have to overthink this. And it doesn't become this like, you know, scary power play between these certain beings, like trying to conflict with each other. So let's say that you have two beings like this, right? Let's say you have like a light being and a dark being you're working with, and they clash. They clash, they clash, they ignore each other, they threaten each other, they mock each other to the point of, humiliation. They start little conflicts with each other behind the scenes when you're not watching. Um, all this stuff is happening. But what if, let's say that this is A and this is B, right? In your mind, these are still separate beings, okay? In your mind, there's still these two separate beings trying to fight. So what if we created a bridge for them that they could fully understand each other? Or what you really want to ask is, how can my subconscious mind integrate this? Right? So I'll give you a personal example, right? Let's say a very dark energy of lust, Asmadeva, and love, Kamadeva. Okay. And the bridge is obviously flow, my theme. But also, in a sense, it's timelessness. It's like a universal love that needs to flow between these two realms, right? So for them to truly be magnetic. Like I chose Shivaji as the bridge between both, but then I also understand that the Makara can hold both of these, right? So the Hindu sea monster who protects the temples, right, connected to the water god Varuna and Maganga and so forth. The Makar, right, is the overarching sacral chakra being that is helping me to formulate this. This, you could say, is kind of a 0 point because this is Shiva's energy. Okay, this is very advanced. So if you're not understanding this at all, ask questions, okay? Ask questions. It's quite advanced. So this is how you would integrate them, okay? Let's give a random example, okay? Um, let's ask for a randomizer. Okay. What? Sign me out. Weirdos. The word weird means fated, right? Okay. Okay. Let's use Loki as an example. Okay. And Kuan Yin, completely opposite energies. Okay. Loki is chaos and upheaval. Kuan Yin is like calm and harmony. Makes no sense. How are they going to meet? That's going to cause a lot of conflict in your subconscious, is it not? You guys get that? So Kuan Yin or Avalokiteshvara or whatever you want to call her, right? She has many forms. Is associated with compassion, right? Loki is associated with causing mischief, correct? Okay. Who would be the bridge? Well, since this is how I think, right? Hermes is the Greek god of boundaries, transitions, and also cleverness, and he's a trickster as well, but he's also benevolent, right? So he uses chaos and wit, humor with a touch of compassion. He's a psychopomp, but then he's also a transformation specialist, right? So this is like mischief with purpose, with compassionate, it's like compassionate mischief. Beautiful. right? So let's say, okay, so Hermes is your bridge that helps your Kuan Yin side and your Loki side mix. It's like chemistry, right? Yeah, you need a connector, you need a bridge or a base. Um, so yeah, this is one way that you can do it. Let's say that you use Loki as a symbol. Um, okay, so Loki would probably be, how do we use Loki? Okay, let's represent Loki as a snake. Okay, I made it two snakes because this kind of reminds me more of the Hermes staff. Okay, and then hmm, how would we add Kuan Yin to this? Maybe like a rose, a lotus down here. Okay, beautiful, right? So Hermes staff is coming out of the rose, creating these two, right? Perfect imagery. And now your subconscious has this imagery, right? Has a perfect understanding of your inner world now, because you're seeing it symbolically now. Okay. So this is how I, at least personally, integrate, my guides. I've had to do a lot of work, inner work for this, right? To really figure it out. You can even ask Loki what's blocking me. Let's see. Fun. Okay. He wants me to have more fun. Then I tune into Kuan Yin, and Kuan Yin says, what's missing from my compassion? She's saying self-compassion. Okay. Self-care, let's say. Fun and self-care. Those are messages. Hermes, how do you come in as the bridge? How can you make self-care more fun? Boom. Now you have something to do, you have something to move with. Now let's move. I'm gonna create self-care cards with little memes on them every time I go, right? Troll face, and then it says like, stretch like a madman in the middle of the sunlight, outdoors. Boom, self-care time. Okay. So this is very powerful. I mean, this is one way that you can integrate, right? And we want to make things very practical, simple, easy for you to understand. Let's demystify this stuff. Why is it so scary to all of you guys? Right? This is what the future is coming towards, for us to understand that there might be aliens or invisible worlds or all these other things there, right? We can't be scared of it. If you're scared of it, then and you ignore it, it's going to just keep happening and coming up. Or maybe there's some invisible forces, like not in a paranoid way, like, oh my gosh, there's invisible forces all around me, but also there's supporters, they're consultants, they're guides there to help you with unconditional, pure, blasting love, like a overfloweth, uh, uh, chalice of love. So why not? You know, why not work with these different codes? Why not understand these different energies? I'm not doing this for like idolatry or like, to appease all these different gods. And I'm not doing that. It's not a dark craft. It's a beautiful art and science. This is what we have to start to understand. We're not these, you know, manipulating the spiritual codes of let's take a little bit from the Bible, a little bit from the Quran, a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and make it work for our favor. That's not what we're doing. We're understanding there's truths in each, right? Blend. But as a truth seeker, how am I gonna move forward with this? Right? Because I know, right, that my gods are gonna show up in my psyche. They're future versions of me. They're archetypes. Symbolically, they're me in other dimensions. They're connected to me, are they not? So they're me in other dimensions. They are somehow family to me, but I don't really know them on an earthly plane, let's say. Well, you know them when you dream. You know them when you go to the astral world, right? You know it when you're deep in meditation and suddenly a weird idea or something pops into your head like that, right? We've all experienced this. So this is what we do. Let's call in our spiritual entourage, okay? Again, okay? You don't have to be Johnny Drama right away, okay? And start causing conflict in the entourage. You can be very chill like Vinny Chase and have an entire team around him like Turtle and the others. That just makes it move, that just makes it work. So talk about the show entourage, by the way. Um, so yeah, think of it like that, okay? It's your tribe. It's the council of the mind, like Napoleon Hill says. It is that. Why not work with these energies? Why not create this neuroplasticity and try all of these different practices out? If you haven't done so, this might be very interesting. Try and guess what your friend is, what color shirt he's wearing today or something. Try these little psychic challenges out. Build your intuition. Okay? Wake up in the morning and start stomping your feet in the grass or, doing weird vocal exhales with different sounds and light language gibbering. Right? Now, to the ordinary person who's just so go to 9 to 5, the regular life and does this, you're hearing this and you're going, do I really want to do that? I mean, I don't really know. There's doubt. And doubt, you got to doubt it. Doubt is not helpful to you in your journey. Doubt is actually slowing you down. But hey, man, if you do the things like everybody else, you're going to be like everybody else. But hey, I was watching Rhythm and Flow the other day, right? The Netflix where the rappers, they bring them on. And this Salado, this female rapper, whatever, she said it's in you, not on you, right? It's in you, not on you. So what she's saying it's your authenticity as a shaman, right? It's your authenticity that's gonna win. Anybody can rap fast or do this, theatrical stuff or, you know, try to appease to the crowd and like control the crowd. But then there's this one person who, less is more to them. So they just show up, boom, 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 easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's get it, right? And suddenly their character, what their dress sense, everything, it just makes sense in that moment. You go, yep, that guy's got it. Whatever he's saying, whatever he's doing, something is different about this. And I hear it in the language, I hear it in the tonality, I hear it in this freedom of speech, the free will. You have free will in this game, right? So we have to understand how to use it to the best of our capabilities and our abilities, right? If you have all these hidden superpowers and you aren't tapping into it, what does that say about you as a shaman? Okay. What does it mean about you that you're not using your spiritual powers? Well, it means that, I'm wasting time on my spiritual journey. Why is that such a bad thing that you're wasting time on your spiritual journey? All because, um, I have to find a better peace of mind. What if peace was already within you? And that's something you need to tap into, and it wasn't something like you had to chase. What then? Oh, well, it's a piece. Of course, I know peace can possibly be within me, but I'm not really. I mean, Peace is a baseline, my friend. Why are you, you know, trying to slam dunk for peace? Okay. Where you like, first, I must perform incredibly well, and then I'll give myself a peace of mind. What are you're like, why are you hyperextending your bliss? Tap into it now. Feel into it now. You got this. You deserve to rest and work hard. Okay? Let's get it. You're meant for this. If you're watching this and you're resonating with this, you are meant for this work. Okay? So let's really integrate. Okay? Let's integrate together. Let's find ways to make this work for us. Okay? Let's use our nervous system as this flow state catalyst. All right? Notice traumas, habits, and memories are passed on by doing the cleanup work, by doing the work with cleaning up the gunk. What are you doing? You're breaking generational curses, right? You are breaking down, you are changing the genes of your own family and your generation, and the next, and the next, and the next. You're the last line of the progeny of your family line, okay? That's going. And hey, it's a game of survival and reproduction, right? But again, both of those are contained within the spirit. And a lot of you have you've forgotten your true spiritual purpose. But I'm here to remind you that you've always known. It's time to take away the noise, start focusing on that song that your heart wants to sing. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang. Hey, may we never be the same again. Thank you so much for tapping in, guys. I appreciate all of you. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. And yeah, we'll tap in. We'll tap in. Let's get it today. Osa. Yeah, we're here to win. Okay. I was meant to be traveling today, but let's see what the universe has in store for me. Let's go. 7-day, 25th. Let's go. Upward Spiral Gang. Speak to you all soon. Upward Spiral. We're all gonna make it, man. We're all gonna make it.